Well, what's up, everybody? It's your girl here, Brianna Cologne. Thank you for joining us for another podcast episode, Your Life, Your Money. Today, we are joined by another of our Integrity Financial family members, very near and dear to my heart. Her name is Enje Harden. Say hello to the people, Enje.
Hello to the people.
Thank you for being willing to come and hang out with your girl today. Lots to talk about. I am so proud of this young lady. She has accomplished so much and such. I talk like she's still 25, but but really, she's made some major accomplishments that I wanted her to just come and share today and just talk a little bit about her life and what she's been able to do in the past 20, if that, no, barely, not even 20, really, years. So anyway, we were talking earlier about her goal being, the goal was for her to be 40 and retired. And now she doesn't even want to call it retired. No. But she hit that benchmark at 38. Okay, let's hear the applause in the background. 38 years old, hit the retirement mark. Now let's just be clear about when we say retirement. We're not talking about go sit at home and sit in the rocking chair and just do nothing, which we're going to explore what her retirement was. But in general, we're really talking about the power of choice, getting to the point that work is optional. You know, so many people wait until they're 60, 65, 62, once I hope I can retire by 70 and I'm going to have to work all my life. We got choices, really. Life is all about choices. God has blessed us in that way that we can control the direction that we want our life to head in. And so she took control of that and mapped out a plan, figured it out, and decided that she wanted to be done by 40 and then was an overachiever and was like, I'll be out in 38. So let's backtrack that a little bit. So originally, when you went to college, your career choice or your major was what?
International relations and French. I was a double major, actually.
Oh, double. Yeah. See, she started out as an overachiever. How many people double majoring? Okay. So French and international, what was it? International relations. Okay. So the original plan was to do what career-wise?
I was recruited by the CIA to be a language analyst.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. So you're fluent in French?
I am.
Any other languages other than English?
Ebonics? No.
Love it. So fluent French. I love that. Can you say something in French right quick? You know that was going to happen, right?
What would you like me to say?
I love Brianna Cologne. She's just so wonderful. No, whatever you want to say.
Je t'aime. I could say, je m'appelle Enje. Je suis tellement présent ici aujourd'hui. I could say the French national anthem. I could say the.
Oh wow!
Excuse that. I could say all kinds of things.
Look, I
could start singing the Marseillaise.
I asked you to speak in French, and like I was gonna know what you were saying. I took French in high school, so I like to think I know a little something. I know a little parlez-vous français. That's about it.
Yeah,
that's all I remember. It took a couple years.
I didn't really say anything super impactful, so you're okay.
Okay.
I said I love you and I'm here.
Okay. So. Hey, we'll take that. Yes, love it. So in college, you were majoring in, you had a whole double major going on, and you were recruited to be an analyst, language analyst. Mm-hmm. So did you do that?
No, I did not.
So what had happened?
So I was able to study abroad. I studied international politics in France, and then when I came home, there were two things that I needed to do for the CIA in order to continue to move forward. And that was to enroll in the graduate program, which was not that difficult. And I needed to also select a secondary language, which was either going to be Farsi, Arabic, or Mandarin. And I think that the shock of being abroad and coming back home, I was so focused on just readjusting that I was not really ready to be applying for grad school programs. I didn't know what I wanted to learn. They did not say what I had to learn. They just say you have to be enrolled in grad school and you have to pick up this language and we'll train you and that kind of stuff. And so making those decisions was, just wasn't ready for it at the time. And so I passed up on that opportunity, actually. So when I walked across the stage and actually graduating, that was like one of the scariest moments or lead ups for my life, because I couldn't envision who I was going to be once I walked across the stage. So it was a very exciting time because it represented something that I accomplished, but it was also kind of scary because it's like, what do I do now?
Right.
I had lots of my classmates and other friends who had deep networks from their parents, and many of them said they were going to work for companies because their parents knew someone, or they had done internships and those types of things. And I felt like I was heading into like a postgraduate life unprepared, because I had no idea what I really wanted to do.
What was your graduate degree major?
I have two. I have an MBA and then I have a master's in organizational leadership.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Organizational leadership. Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
So, going through that process. So first of all, you became a world traveler.
I did. A professional backpacker. Yeah.
And then coming back home, you went through that period of finding yourself, if you will, trying to figure out what lane am I going to be in now that I know I don't want to do this. And I can get that. That's, a scary place. I went through that finding yourself phase in my 20s. Also, it was after college, but it still was in my mid to late 20s trying to figure out where exactly do I want to land. I know I'm not happy doing accounting, but what is it? What am I supposed to be doing? And maybe, for some of you that are listening or watching, you may have gone through that, or maybe you're going through that right now, because it happens at different ages and stages of your life. You could be 45 and like in a transition, like I'm thinking about changing my career. We've had some clients that have been in that space of, I think I want to change. I don't know that I want to do this forever. I want to, and they're already up in age. So, but, with the proper plan, you can change. It's okay to have course corrections. Sometimes people think I'm too young, I'm too old, I'm too this, I'm too that to be able to make, some type of career path change. But it's important to be happy in what you're doing. Why be stuck in a job that you don't like and, you're there because you want to collect a check? Is that enough for you? Do you not want more for yourself? So eventually you ended up, is that when you then became a teacher?
Not quite. And I just want to make a nice distinction here, is that when I came back, I had like reaffirmed who I was personally from like a value standpoint. So I actually got to know like who I actually was, because I didn't have the influence of my network. I was away from family. So I really got to look at myself in the mirror and determine like who I was at my core. So I actually came back very clear about who I was as a person. But the professional aspect and what I wanted to do, that was a little bit more evasive, like figuring out what that was going to be. So I just wanted to make that distinction. I came back like a stronger, more well-rounded like individual. Yes. And so, but
my way does that. It's interesting how that works. I mean, just even going off to college does that, of people growing up, that adulting thing. Yeah, it'll grow you up. But what were you going to say?
Yeah, so when I graduated, a friend of mine, Tamika, who we just saw out there, we wound up working for a local church that had a school, a Christian academy, and I wound up being an academic intervention coordinator. And it started off as just the first job that I could get that was salaried and had benefits and those types of things. And I figured I would do this for a while and work my way up. And I know a lot of my classmates were also thinking about service, acts of service. And so many were leaving for the Peace Corps right after graduation, and they wanted to serve their local communities and then other communities in need post-graduation. So I kind of took that route and thought of this as that opportunity. Lowest salary that I had in my career. I guess that's not too bad since that was the start.
I was about to say, you're just getting started.
And it was a great opportunity, in that time. And then I decided I wanted to go and serve in the Peace Corps.
Okay.
And that was going to be my next transition. And unfortunately, my grandmother became ill with cancer, and I did not want to leave because the Peace Corps is a 2-year service of, you're not connecting, you're not coming home for, events and holidays, and you're going to miss a lot for about 2 years of time. And I just wasn't willing to do that. So I wound up staying home, decided to go to grad school and go to business school. And I was able to stay home and take care of her until she transitioned. And I wound up becoming a middle school French teacher. And I think my love for young people started in church through my work in youth ministry. And I saw it as an opportunity to give to my community, but I also saw it as a stepping stone, which I don't think many people would want to admit that, but that's the truth of it. I thought that this would kind of launch a career, or at least stabilize me so that I could kind of use it as a launch pad. And then the students just stole my heart. And I just love going to work every day. I love interacting with them. I just fell in love with just with teaching.
That has to warm a parent's heart, though, because you want to hear that because we're leaving our child with a teacher for 8 hours, the whole day, a work day practically. It does a parent's heart. I would like to think does a parent's heart good to be able to hear a teacher say that they love what they do. They love working with the kids. Now the kids don't always love the teacher all the time, but but you had your way of handling them. They
love me. We had a great time. You
had a good relationship.
Work was absolutely fun. I don't have many horror stories as it relates to interactions with students. My main pain points with being a public school teacher is more systemic. Has really nothing to do with interaction with students. They were phenomenal. And one of the reasons why I stayed so long, I did try to quit every summer. That was my mission. Every summer, I'm going to quit and I'm not coming back. I tried to join the Marine Corps as an officer, but asthma, all kinds of things. I mean, that's the truth of the matter. And I think for my fellow educators out there, or anyone those of you all who are in education, what it's like to kind of have that professional guilt where you want to continue to serve, but you're not being fulfilled or valued, and you're not able to lead a healthy work-life balance. And so at some point, you do have the straw that breaks the camel's back, and you have to make that hard decision to transition in a different direction. So that's where I was for several years. And then a few of my friends and we just said, we're having trouble innovating within the system that we were teaching in. We worked really hard for about 3 years. And then on year 4, we just left. And we had been working on a school design. So we had been imagining a school. They had been working on this well before I came on scene. They just asked me, "Hey, Enje, can you help with some of the finance parts?" And I was like, "Sure, I'll help you." I was actually on my way to the Peace Corps again. I was leaving again. And they asked me a couple of months before I was leaving because they were submitting another round. They were in the national grant contest, submitting another round. They needed to have budgets and stuff. So I did some forecasting and some things with them. And I wound up not leaving again because of asthma.
So what is it with you at the Peace Corps? You were just determined to make this decision. I'm going.
I really wanted to serve. And I really enjoyed my time abroad, living abroad.
Okay. And
I wanted to live abroad again and start kind of combine the two.
Right.
And unfortunately, something that doesn't seem to be a major factor in my day-to-day living here in the United States was a risk that they were not willing to take, given how far away I would be from medical services and that kind of stuff. So,
but do you feel like God had another plan now?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm vaccinated for yellow fever. I have random vaccinations and stuff that I wouldn't have had for that. So, thanks God for allowing me to go through a process I didn't need. But no, I'm just playing. that it just helped to, it helped me to be more resilient because I can tell you some things, and this is like a story within a story. So I can tell you some things that kind of came out of gearing up to leave and then not leaving. I became a landlord at like 27, 28 years old.
I remember that.
And it was because I purchased my house at a really great time. And I did not want to sell it. I knew that it was going to appreciate in value. So I decided to rent it out while I was away serving. And I had hired a property manager. My house was actually rented. I was at home, just staying my last month until I leave. And then found out that I did not get medically cleared and my house is rented for a year and I'm back at home and I have a master's degree and like all of the things that were the realities of my life were just not at all what had been envisioned before.
Right.
So I had all these little parts happening and there wasn't anything that was like, too bad, but that kind of launched my, real estate investing. It wasn't something that I was trying to do by design in that way, but it just kind of happened by default. So those are some of the great things about gearing up for the Peace Corps yet again, and then not going to serve. So anyway, so I have my colleagues that I'm working with, and I tell them, oh, guess what? Change of plans. I'm not going anywhere. And I think the project you guys are working on is pretty cool. So they kept me around. So we actually would stay at work till like 10 o'clock at night, like almost every day, just working and working on the school design. And we eventually came to the realization that this is not going to happen with us devoting part-time attention. So in one summer, all three of us just quit to devote full-time attention to starting the school. And, after a year of like hard work and working together and, a lot of ups and downs, we started the first all-girls public charter high school in DC.
Nice. So you started a school, and this is also the turning your house into an investment property. That happened during the same window of time?
No, that happened earlier. So I turned my house into an investment property probably 2 or 3 years before the school started, because when I was going for Peace Corps service, this may have been the first year we were working together. They were responding to a national grant competition. And so after we had made it all the way to the semifinal round, we realized we actually have something here. So we started working on it. And I think that was like a 3-year process, I would say, from about 2016 to 2018.
Okay.
Of just kind of, moving that vision forward, putting some meat on the bones, and then coming to the realization and say, this is never going to happen part-time, with part-time attention and energy. And are we really about to do this? And,
right.
We did it.
How many entrepreneurs that face that decision of, are we about to jump into the deep end of the pool and leave this job? It's a scary place to be. It is not for the faint at heart. Like, you got to be ready for everything that comes along with that, the highs and lows and all that stuff. So you got to school and you got introduced into the real estate investing world. So talk about the real estate investing part. Once you did that property, what was next for you on the real estate investing track?
So what I was trying to do was identify like more creative ways. At the time when I did this, I only thought of real estate investing in 2 buckets. You're either a landlord, right? So you're doing a buy and hold, or you're a flipper, and for both you need capital and like large capital infusions. And I thought, little old me, how am I going to get enough money to, do this? And so I started looking into hard money lending and basically doing like financing renovations. So kind of late stage renovations. And so that's where I started. So you have a real estate investor. They have scoped out that they need, $40K, $60K to renovate a flip. I come in, I give them what they need. They, renovate the home, and then I get my, percentage back, and
So you became the lender.
Yeah, that was the next kind of phase.
Be the lender and not the borrower. Amen. Somebody. Yes.
Hard money lending. And then obviously like things don't always work out as planned. So you do one bad deal or two bad deals or, that kind of thing. It kind of shakes you up and it makes you think, well, maybe this wasn't what I thought it. Yeah. And so I still like the idea of hard money lending. Also, I like more the idea of being diversified and how you invest in certain assets. So then the next transition was in syndicated real estate investing. You know what that is?
Can you break that down for the people and
me? So it's sort of like, this is probably not the best characterization, but it's like warm crowdfunding. So it's where capital partners, they get together and they crowdsource funding from their network. You have to have a warm connection. So they can't be someone off the street or anything like that. You have to have a working relationship prior to the deal.
Okay.
You invest is typically a minimum investment. All of the good syndicated deals I know are offering some sort of dividends to investors. And so you are invested in a pretty large scale property. Typically a commercial property. You see this a lot in apartment buildings and complexes and that kind of stuff. And so you do that and you're you got a stake in this game and so that's like another avenue.
So how did you get to where you accumulated enough to be able to do all these types of things? So was this you flipping a couple of good deals, making some money there combined with what you did with the hard money loans and things like that combined to just, kind of keep going, or multiple lines of credit, or like what was your pathway with that?
Yeah. So all of this stuff was in cash. So I did not have any credit kind of transactions with these types of real estate investments. I also did, I was investing in the stock market, and I'm self-taught there. So you have, opportunities there.
Back up. You said you were what now? You were
Taught.
Self-taught in the stock market. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Go ahead.
So, that was a great source of, capital infusion for me to be able to do this, and then you can leverage other assets that you do have in order to do that. Additionally, I would say I liquidated my pension when I quit teaching. That part we missed.
Okay.
Yeah, I said I looked at the performance. I didn't like it, and I thought that I could do better, and I did do better.
Wow. Talk about take control of your finances.
Yeah, I took the tax hit and all that kind of stuff.
But you made up for it.
Yeah, I gave up the $180 a month that I had earned thus far after 9 years of being in the system.
Right.
And so I had a lot of different things that I did to be prepared for that. And so, yeah.
That is awesome. So I'm going to pause this right there so we can take a quick break, but we will be right back because this is juicy and I got more to ask, more questions. Hope you guys respond in the comments. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Ivory Rozier, and working with Brianna Colon has been life-changing. It's completely changed my financial landscape. It's completely changed the way that I view money, the way that I view credit, the way that I view debt. And since we've been working together, I have basically paid off debt. And right now I have my home and I have my car note. Those are the last two debts that I'm working on. And right now I'm on track to be completely financially free within the next 8 years. My goal was to be financially free prior to retirement. And so with Brianna's support, with her guidance, with her help, we've created a plan to be able to do that and to be able to make that dream a reality. And so, listen, if you, like me, are really trying to get a handle of your finances, if you are trying to prepare for retirement and trying to set up the life that you want and the future that you want, make sure you give Brianna a call. She can meet you right where you are and give you some really sound advice and strategies for becoming debt-free and for creating the kind of financial life and security that you want for yourself. Thank you.
Well, what's up, y'all? And we're back. Thank you so much again for joining us, whether you're listening or whether you're watching. We appreciate you taking the time to join us for this podcast. If you like it, I hope that you will subscribe, share, like, comment, all of the above. So again, we're here with Enje Harden, and we were just talking about the evolution of Enje and her career path and what led up to, or what has led up to her being able to be positioned to retire by the age of 38. And you're only, 39 now?
Yes.
Look at that.
me.
Look at that. Come on here. Yes. So we were talking about your real estate investing life and how you said you didn't really have to do a whole bunch of borrowing and all that stuff and so when you accumulated cash of your own, but also you got into the options trading. So that, of course, led to more money because you were self-taught. She was self-taught, and now she's teaching others how to do the same. So before I get to the options trading part, so the real estate investing, where are you at now with the real estate investing piece? Like, what are you into now? What are you doing now? Because I know you're into bigger and better things now. We done moved up a notch and everything.
I wouldn't characterize it as bigger and better. I would characterize it as like rebalancing and repositioning my portfolio and my exposure.
Okay.
So I'm married now, so I don't make.
She said I was married now.
I don't make decisions unilaterally.
Right.
So,
we gotta do things together.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
I like it.
My husband and I definitely align on all of the investment decisions that we make.
Mm-hmm.
So we
That's
actually
good.
just sold a rental property yesterday.
Okay.
Actually,
Wait a minute. Hold up. I don't want to gloss over a statement you made that was very relevant and very important to the married people listening, because everybody's not on that same page. Say what you said again. We do what about decisions?
We align on our investment decisions.
Yes, they align on their investment decisions before executing. I love it.
Yeah.
That unity, teamwork makes the dream work. You definitely can do more together than you can apart. When opposites attract to create balance, and when you recognize that, then you can allow the balance to be able to help propel you forward because you both bring things to the table. So,
Right.
Did y'all figure out as a couple what is your strong area as it pertains to this business?
So what I would say is our strength is the net outcome. We both get to the same outcome. We have complete opposite methods how to get in there. And so oftentimes whatever decision we've made, one has compromised to support the vision or the preference of the other.
Do y'all ever have a competition? Since you got two different approaches, like, okay, for this deal, we're going to do it my way, but this deal, we're going to do it your way, and let's see, kind of what happens?
Actually, we don't. But that might be something that we may consider.
A little friendly competition,
No, we don't. My husband is not interested in, he's not the competitive type.
Okay.
In that regard.
Okay.
So he doesn't like losing.
Okay.
So if he thinks he's going to lose, he's not starting.
My husband and I are very competitive, and with our property, like we have different outlooks on how the decorating should go. Maybe down to the paint colors and things of that nature. So I said in our next house where we have currently that we have to renovate, I was like, I was thinking that maybe we would. Like he decorate a room and I decorate a room to see which room gets the most compliments from people who come and stay. Like, oh, I really love the way you did this room, and I just be like,
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, but go ahead.
We have really complementary skill sets. So his strengths are not always my strengths, and my strengths are not always his strengths. And
That's
so we
good.
kind of recognize that, and we just, we default.
That's the key, though,
Whoever's
recognizing
stronger.
it and then using it to your advantage. You're good at this, I'm good at that. Let's make it work. But go ahead. So
it depends on where you're catching me, what we're involved in, whether or not he has deferred to my kind of approach or I've deferred to his. And so he's more of a debt elimination and expense reduction, and I'm more of a income generation. So I will spend money to make money, where he just wants to eliminate money outlays. Okay. Financial outlays. He wants to reduce that as much as possible. So, in both ways, you may net to be in a really great financial position. Yeah. And so we've been pretty great about compromising in this regard. So
that's good. That's good. Praise him. That's great. So we were talking about, before I turned the corner to talk about marriage, we were talking about what you're into now in terms of types of properties or deals, and how you're positioning your portfolio, as you put it. What types of things are you investing in now? Or we're in a syndicated deal in a Atlanta suburb, which is an apartment complex. We just, like I said, we're just closing one investment property here. We're doing some portfolio rebalancing right now because we just purchased a property not too long ago. And so those are things we're looking at. We are increasing our exposure to commercial real estate, especially as we anticipate interest rates falling. And so we are increasing our investment in REITs. Do you know what a REIT is? Kinda. I'm a little bit familiar with it, a little bit, but go ahead and break it down for the people.
So a REIT is an acronym. It's a real estate investment trust, and it's essentially you are investing in a trust that manages physical commercial real estate buildings.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, and so a lot of the buildings that we go into as we shop, we go into Target and Walmart, and the gym that we go into, the Planet Fitness, and even to like the theater or places we go to, for other entertainment. Like if you go to Vegas on the Strip and you're hanging out at hotels and those types of things, you think that the branded company owns that actual building, but it's most of the time it's a REIT that owns the building. And so as that branded company does well and their business flourishes, so does the REIT. And so by investing in that REIT, you therefore get exposure to commercial real estate, and you can vary that, right? So I'm focusing more on like data centers, for example, places that need to store servers as we transition or we keep pushing forward into a place where AI is taking like a more of a front seat as it relates to innovative practices. And so that's a place that I'm looking to kind of invest. That's not as obvious when you talk about real estate investing. People are not really, that's not what they think of, and that is a way that we are doing some rebalancing to get ourselves in position, because once those interest rates fall down, you'll be sitting pretty. So
right, sitting pretty. I got you. Okay. So you said you bought an apartment building, which is in Atlanta, but you don't live in Atlanta. So how do y'all find your deals? Because you also mentioned one here in the DC area, DC metropolitan area. So speak to that. How are you finding your deals? Yeah,
and I just want to be clear that this was a syndicated. So like my husband and I didn't just go out and like buy an apartment building. So this is and I like to share this with my clients because I need them to understand that the story of real estate investing is not that you have to have this large lump sum in order to participate. There's so many different ways that you can participate at different budgets. And so, yeah. So
when you say different budgets, what, for someone who doesn't have a large budget, what's like a minimal amount? If you have at least this, you can get into doing this?
So, like, if you're going to do something similar to what I just described, which was REITs, there's no floor, honestly. You can invest in a REIT for $20. So there's no floor there, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I would say for syndicated deals, the lowest I've seen is 30,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's the lowest. For hard money lending, the lowest I've seen is 12, 15,000. It really depends on where you're doing the deal, and the scope and scale of the renovation. So if you're renovating a property that has good structural bones and you're just handling cosmetics and you're in North Carolina, it's going to be a different cost to that renovation as if you were doing it here in Washington, D.C. So that matters, but I would say, anywhere between 15 to 25,000 as a floor for some hard money lending opportunities. And yeah.
So is that something you teach with the whole being able to invest? If someone wants to get started with that, on the how do they get started? I got $20. I want to be able to get started in this. How can I do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I know you've been kind of dancing around it, so we might as well just talk about the fact that
let's get to it.
I started an investment education company a few years ago. And so basically what I do is just teach people how to invest. I listen to my clients, find out what their interests are, what their risk tolerance is, what their budget is, how active do they want to be, and we find out what their goals are, and then we kind of develop a plan from there. And the idea is a little bit different than what you do with being like a financial planner. I'm opening people's eyes to what's available for them to do, but I'm not necessarily telling them what to do or like, here's the plan, do it like this. Once they make the decision on what they would like to do, I kind of come back in and I help them through that process. So some people, just the mechanics of not knowing what button to push or not knowing, how to set something up or who to call or what to do. I help them with that. And a lot of this information is not proprietary. It's freely available. The challenge is that no one is coming to support people that look like you and me in this process. They're saying the opportunity is here for everyone, but sometimes I have a lot of clients that say they tried to access the information and they just didn't understand. And they got discouraged because they just didn't understand. And they felt like they were being left behind because it seems like everybody else that is engaged in whatever this investment strategy is, they seem to be doing great and they just weren't getting it. And it was very discouraging. So I tried to kind of build confidence and help them to, usher them into independence, but in a successful way.
Independence. Yes. I like it. I like it. So let me tell y'all, when she's doing her whole options trading thing, she brags on Facebook. She'll post pictures showing where she put money into this or that, and she's getting 160% return, 1,000% return, 1,100% return, like all these crazy numbers to where people are like, wow, okay, wow. But she's trying to show people what's possible. Like, you just got to learn it and, see what's possible. That's really the bottom line. She did teach me a little something. I'll admit to that. But I was starting to get addicted, but I didn't have time to be addicted, but it was, it's the real deal. So I can definitely validate, because I was definitely earning some money when I was actively doing it myself. And now my husband has been, in some of her classes and is really all in on the options trading. Any free time he has, he's on a YouTube. He's listening to a podcast. He is like trying to learn as much as he can in addition to the classes that he took from her. So it's definitely something I love that you're in this space of wanting to empower and educate others and take the intimidation out of what seems to be difficult. Because even with the clients that we see, just looking at if you ask them about their 401k, it's like, well, do you look at it? Well, sometimes. Well, what are you looking at when you look at it? I'm just trying to see if it went up or down. They don't really understand it, but don't know how to go about understanding it either. So they need people like you and like me in the industry in general to really just take the intimidation out. When I came into the mortgage industry, that was one of the big things for me because I had a bad first-time homebuyers experience. And I remember saying, if I ever get in the financial industry, I'm going to know how to treat my client. But the motivation for me getting into the mortgage industry was really all about wanting our people to have a trusted source, because I know that we're known for not reading. That's the thing. And so, the running joke is you want to hide something from a black person, put it in a book, which, we know that to some extent, yeah, okay, there has been some of that, but there's so much more of us that are smart, that are reading, and, none of that's true, but nevertheless, the point is, part of my motivation was I wanted to be able to take the intimidation out of mortgage loan documents, to be able to say, okay, I know this is like 50 pages and I don't want you to get used to just signing and not reading, not understanding what you're looking at, all of that. So I made sure that I was taking the time to point out, this is your such and such a page. This is what this means, that kind of thing. And so now that's carried over into what I do now on the financial side with the planning, of really wanting people to not just sit down and me say, okay, hey, here's a budget. Here's how you save money. Just do these 3 things and you're good. No, I want you to understand what you have. I have clients that didn't know how to read a pay stub, and they've been working places for years. It's older people, but it's time out for that. We need to know how to read our pay stub, know how to read our investment statements, know how to read our life insurance policies, everything. We need to understand what it is that we're paying for years, and don't understand stuff. What? That is not okay. So it's the same with the investment. So I'm saying all that to say I really appreciate what you're doing in this space to really help people, young, old, and in between, understand that they can invest, and it doesn't have to be hard, and it can be on a level that you can understand and on a budget that you can afford.
Correct.
All of that. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited for you. So how often are you doing these classes?
It ebbs and flows. It's based on historical kind of demand trends. So I've been doing this for a few years, and so I know what the demand is during the holidays, for example, or gear up to the start of school. And so I teach group courses. I teach individual, like private courses, and then I'm actually on retainer for some people. So the way that
you're like a lawyer. I'm on retainer.
So the way it works is like you're in a group course, you're meeting, not too often. Generally, it's once a week for just a month. And the idea is that when that course is finished, your knowledge base, like you have a firmer understanding of whatever the strategy was that you took the course for. So whether it's options trading or forex trading or just, investing in treasuries or real estate, anything like that. And what I'm trying to do is demystify, investing. I want to write counter narratives about who can participate, and so that's kind of what the aim is. I also, I don't want people blindly following whatever I do. So I want to be transparent and let you know what I am doing, the things that work, the things that don't work. But I also don't want you to be dependent on me sharing that information in order for you to have like a guide for what you want, because your portfolio is not my portfolio. Your budget's not my budget. Your risk tolerance is not my risk tolerance. And so it wouldn't be great to kind of blindly follow. So that's like the group course. Then the private course is a little bit more customized. So you're kind of sharing exactly what you want to learn. I am actually customizing curriculum for that. And then we're meeting on your schedule. So you don't have to wait or try to see like, oh, Thursdays don't work for me or Wednesdays don't work for me. You kind of just tell me exactly when you're available. We make it work, and it goes like that. So if you want to meet,
because you retired like that, yeah. Speaking of, wait a minute, let me pivot for a minute. Let me talk about that for a second, because we talked earlier before we started recording that yes, the goal was for you to retire by 40. You retired at 38. And initially, you were doing what when you retired?
Nothing. Options trading. Nothing. Just trading every day.
Just trading every day, chilling at home?
Yes.
And doing your options trading, making your money, and, doing whatever you felt like doing whenever you felt like doing it?
Yes.
Pretty much. And then what happened?
I got bored.
She She got bored, so that's why she stops calling it retirement.
Yeah, it's not. I had to get busy. I had to start doing stuff again. And so I would say more than the boredom was the fact that I was not leading a purpose-driven life. That was
good.
more.
That's good.
So I thought that the idea was to just not work and to be able to wake up and direct your day, like have a self-directed day. Not only did I have a self-directed day, I had a self-fulfilling day. And I went from a career of helping others and laying it all on the line and pouring into others to just doing what I wanted and not really helping other people. And I didn't like that. So I look for opportunities to kind of utilize my talents and leverage my talents to the benefit of others. And so, yeah.
That's good. So she transitioned, because I was explaining to her that really retirement, when I'm educating my clients about retirement, it's really not about I'm going to sit at home in the rocking chair and I'm just done. It's really about the power of choice. It's about work optional. Positioning yourself to where if I don't feel like working tomorrow, I don't have to worry about, do I have enough vacation time? Do I have sick leave? I don't have to do all of that. And if I choose to work, I can go to work and enjoy my job even better, actually, in some regards, because I don't have to worry about the financial factor. So for her to have retired at 38, even though the goal was 40, and she's still flowing in that, because really she has her freedom. It's just that she chose to do more with her time to make more of an impact in the world. That's really, that's really the bottom line. So technically you're still retired. It's just that you're, fulfilling your...
I don't like the word retired.
She's living her purpose-driven life. Excuse me. So on the options trading, what can you say? What has been what's a sample of one of the best trades you did where you made the most money? I put in this amount of money and I earned, 1,000 whatever percent, which netted me about such and such an amount of money. What was exciting for you?
I would say my best single day trade, which is not my most exciting, and I'll explain that in a moment, but my best 24-hour trade, I think shortly as the pandemic was taking a turn for the better, right? I invested in some single leg Netflix puts. And so anybody does options trading, they know exactly what I meant. If you don't, you don't. But
those that don't, all they heard was Netflix.
Yeah. So if you purchase a put contract with options trading, that contract increases with value if the share price drops. So if you're a person that thinks about investing and you're thinking, I want to invest in a stock today because I think 3 to 5 years from now it's going to be worth more. That's how many of my clients come to me. You don't make money when the stock drops. And so I use options trading as a vehicle or a tool to help my clients earn money in whatever direction the stock is going to go in. And so it makes them market proof. So this is one of the market proof strategies that I used, and it was an earnings play, was extremely risky. And what happened was Netflix, they released pretty great and a good earnings report, but they kind of, forecasted, hey, this growth that we're having because everyone was stuck at home and we got all these new subscribers, we can't keep this up. Because, for obvious reasons, right? There's only so many people left to become a new subscriber. And so when they kind of highlighted that reality, investors got spooked and they began to sell the stock. And I had my put contracts. I think I paid $300 for each one of them. They became worth $8,000 the next day.
Wow.
And
that's awesome.
That was probably the biggest single day gain that I had.
Huge.
And it's a single day gain. The one I like the most is that I have a friend of mine that we went to school, I want to say middle and high school together. She took my class, and like I said, I encourage my clients to be independent. And she put something on my radar that was not on my radar. And I was very pleased with that, because she had been doing her own due diligence and research. And it happened to be a trade on Walmart. and something that Walmart had done. And I knew that Target was getting ready to, who's a peer in the space. And whatever kind of happens to Walmart also happens to Target from like a general business standpoint. And so I was able to place a trade in anticipation of Target having a similar response to Walmart. Neither one of those were on my radar. She put it on my radar, and she made me several $1,000s. And I give her credit, like, to this day for doing that. So thanks, Dominique. No. So I like that. One of the things I've built, which you are aware of, is I built a community where, once you take my course, you're not on your own. We just still talk. We still share. And that's the thing I really like. And I have clients that, now from clients, and it's just a great space to be in.
Well, you probably have more after today. So how do people get in contact with you if they want to take one of your courses?
So you can send me an email at 7silverspoons@gmail.com.
You said 7 spelled out.
Seven
spelled out.
Just a number.
Right.
7 silver, SILVER spoons.
Okay. Oh, just the number, not spelled out.
Number,
okay, gotcha. Seven silver spoons.
Yeah, did I tell you the inspiration behind that?
No.
Okay. All right. So I have 7 godchildren.
Oh.
And the profits from my company actually go into their portfolio. And the idea is to grow that portfolio so large that their assets, they have so many assets that someone thinks they grew up with a silver spoon in their mouth.
Oh.
So that's kind of
that's so cute.
So the company is Silver Spoon LLC.
Love it.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. Our website is under construction, so I'm happy about that. That should be coming out pretty soon. And what I'm trying to do there is deliver a portal where my clients can see course offerings, register, have all their course materials in one place. We can interact right there.
How much are the courses?
So the courses are $65.
Very reasonable.
Yes. The idea is not to box out the very people that I want to have that information. And private courses are $150.
Okay.
And so, so when you ask about the seasonality or, how often our courses, typically around the holidays, I have an uptick in private clients. So I devote most of my attention there. When school is gearing up, same thing, private courses. So I typically do fall, spring, and summer cohorts.
How long is a class? So if they're doing private, each time.
So the duration of a session in a class or the course itself?
Yeah, the duration of a session.
So it really depends on the level of questioning. They go from about, I would say, 1 hour and 15 minutes to about 1 hour and 45 minutes a session.
Okay.
So someone, you get the kids taken care of and you've got about 1 hour and a half, 1 day a week to be able to learn something new. Right. This would be a course for you.
Okay. Awesome. So 7silverspoons@gmail.com. You send her an email, tell her, hey, look, I heard you on the podcast and I want to get signed up for such and such a class. And then, she's going to hook you up. All right. So thank you so much for hanging with me today. This has been fantastic. This has been really good. I hope that people will like it, share it, all of that, because you really dropped some good information today and really, I think, inspired some people to really pay attention and think about what's possible for themselves. Because there are people who want to invest but don't always know where to begin. They're always thinking, well, let me just go to Robinhood. Since I've heard of that, that's probably okay. And I'm not saying Robinhood is bad, but to actually get educated on to a deeper level and a deeper degree to really understand more than one way to get going with stuff. And what about the real estate? Are you doing anything with people on the real estate side? If people want to invest or anything?
So I actually have a real estate investment course.
Oh,
so it's one of the course offerings.
Oh, yeah. Excuse me. All right, y'all send that email to 7 Silver Spoons. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been a blessing. Until next time, be blessed.
Take care, everyone. Bye.